And I'm like, oh dang, bro, he in California, he's not out here.
No, you're good. Did you get the cases I sent? I saw they were delivered a couple days ago.
Uh, you sent some more?
I sent some cases. They arrived on the 20th. So let me pull up the address real quick. I sent them to the first address you guys gave me. I sent it to that one. I know I sent it.
So that was
That
straight.
yeah, that would have been, like, the old address. So that was the Chicago address, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually moved out of that place, so
Someone got hooked up.
yeah,
Someone got hooked up.
somebody hooked up. Yeah, they gonna enjoy it too, though, because I remember when you sent the first time, man, it was many different flavors, and I thought it was amazing. Like, I thought like, I never had anything like it before. It was definitely different. I don't know if Effa ever got a chance to try any of it, because I think I drank them all. And you said the decent amount too.
Yeah, no, I definitely didn't get none of that one.
After this, I'll get you guys addresses and I'll hook it up with some more products. So we have a ton of new flavors right now. I'm sipping our brand new icy collab one.
Okay.
I gotta try
Yeah,
the icy collab one for sure. Was
I'll
that
hook it
part of
up.
the shipment that you sent?
Yep, yep. I shipped you guys like 9
Okay.
flavors. Someone got hooked up.
Dang. Hey. Yeah, I wish we would have known you were sending it. We would have told you, like, man, this is not there no more.
I thought I was doing something slick. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna hook him up before the podcast," and then
Yeah,
my
no, that
bad.
would have been dope.
That
That
would've
would have
been
been
dope for
dope.
sure, for
Dang,
real.
yeah. No, for
It
sure. But
happens.
man, yeah, but we appreciate you getting on the pod, man. I know, like as you mentioned, we've been talking, the past couple years, and y'all had some big changes in the last couple years from the last time we talked. I know I had mentioned about you guys coming over to like the Midwest, the East Coast, and you guys have expanded out a lot. I mean, now in big retail stores and a lot of different things. So how's the journey been in the last 2 years for you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I remember seeing your guys' podcast. I mean, I wanna say it was right before we had even launched. So around August 2024, around that time, I was just poking around and trying to find a demographic that we were identifiable with because I used to work for Prime Hydration, and no one in the soda space or healthy soda space at that was speaking to that next generation. And I was an athlete my entire life. I don't play a sport right now, but I still got that dog in me. But
For sure.
I go, this is freaking perfect what you guys are doing. I grew up right here in Southern California, played in Trinity League with Bosco, Mater Dei, Olu, all these guys.
Are the top
And I'm like,
dogs.
I'm like, dude, I wish there was something like this. I graduated in 2017. I wish there was something like that then, because I mean, we had some bad people on our team then. But yeah, to answer your question, August 2024, we launch, and a year and a half later, we're 18 months old exactly in 19 days. Yeah, we just launched all of California for Walmart. We're in Kroger, Fry's, Ralph's, Smith's, and then Five Below nationwide. Albertsons, we're getting an expansion next month, so we'll be Sacramento, Hawaii, all over the Southwest. And then more near the Northeast is that Five Below. And then I know in Chicago we're in like Jewel and a couple others. But yeah, it's grown a ton, honestly.
Man, quick too. I mean,
Quick too,
18
yeah.
months you said?
Yeah.
That's quick,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah,
yeah, I want
even
I
us
want to
my bad, like,
No,
I
go
was
ahead,
going
Trey.
to
No,
say,
no,
even
you
the
good.
social media following when you first sent us the cases, I remember it was, like, under 10,000, and then when we saw it, like, probably I wanna say it had to be, like, 6 months later, it was at, like, 13, 14,000 followers. I'm like, "Whoa, what just
Yeah.
happened?" And we started to see, like, the social media strategies that y'all was implementing with the brand ambassador programs and stuff, and we was like, "Ah, okay, we see how they doing it. They're really strategizing behind the marketing and stuff."
Yeah, and
Yeah.
one thing I actually noticed, like for you guys, it's not just a beverage; it's like a culture. It's like y'all are big on culture and that brand recognition. As far as like, man, this is more than just a pop, a soda. And I want to get into that. Just the inception of no cap. But yeah, like how important to you was involving culture in this thing that you've created versus just another drink that's on the market.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it's everything in today's product system. I was just looking at the resets for those stores that were adding us from Albertsons, from the Krogers of the world, and on that same sheet, it also tells you who's getting cut. And very quickly, you can see a one-to-one correlation of brands that have no community, and they're kind of not speaking to anyone specific. And for me, I mean, like I said, I played sports my whole life. I've been on a team my whole life. Even if it was track and field and I'm running the event by myself, you're still on a team. Everybody wants to be a part of something. And I started to realize very fast that there's a lot of healthy food and beverage coming out, a lot of brands that have great products, but they're not speaking to anyone specific. So for us, we're undeniably the next generation soda pop. We call it the next gen soda. We identify with the next gen soda pop. We were just at a trade show here in LA with about 200 other brands, brand new beverage brands. And there was one of the speakers was a guy that was a part of the North America Coca-Cola team. And he goes, out of this entire room, there's one brand that has a cult following. It's No Cap Soda Pop. And people see it, and it's pretty crazy. I never thought people would just rally behind a soda, and I'm seeing these kids being like, No Cap Soda Pop, and like going crazy. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, I want to get into obviously the inception, like no cap. Like where did no cap come from?
so like I said, I had started, I'll put it this way. We started about August 2024 with the launch. August 4th, I was at SDSU's football stadium. I graduated from SDSU, and it was kind of just a full circle moment. April 2024, just a few months before, we had the idea of No Cap Soda Pop. And I'm trying to think of what's the brand going to be called? What are we going to name it? And at first, for about 2 minutes, I had the name of Better Soda, BETR Soda, and I was like, nah, I don't know, I don't really like this. We'll switch it up. My dad was sitting at the dining room table, and he was on Urban Dictionary, and he was looking at slang from 2024, up slang, and he just starts going, no cap, like kind of just making fun of me, and I was like, that's a genius name. It's a no lie, better for you soda, and there's no cap. I was like, that's what we're running with, and that was really it. Just dining room table talk.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is cool. So when you obviously when you came up with the name, that was geared towards the next generation, as you would say. Like obviously, I say no cap a lot. I know a lot of my friends say that a lot. In regards to the flavors, what were like the original flavors of the no cap soda pop? Did y'all only have one flavor? Did y'all have four? Like, and then because you even said y'all expanded flavors since you last sent the shipment. So what was the idea behind the original flavors?
Yeah, so we launched 5 flavors initially. And one thing I had noticed was a lot of the soda category was like healthy ginger, fuzz, and apricot. And I'm like, ugh, I don't want to drink any of that. I go, let's have some fun in this category because a lot of people had flat coloring. It was just kind of neutral looking. I go, we got to have something that freaking just pops off the shelf, is in your face. What's that going to be? So we came out with Bus and Berry, Passion Vibe, Strawberry Dream, Apple Riz, and Tangy Orange. And then today, yeah, we're up to 9 flavors. So we did a licensing deal with Albanese Gummies. So I have Albanese Peach Rings and Albanese Grape Gummy Bear. And our newest one is the Icy collaboration, where we have Icy Strawberry Lemonade and Icy Cherry Cola.
Okay, and yeah, that's interesting because me and Trey, we've been in discussions about licensing and the past couple weeks about certain things, and what kind of is that process of licensing from these like icy and these different flavors? Like how do you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I graduated in 2022, and I wish those years leading up to No Cap, I was active on LinkedIn and engaging with people and had an account and all that stuff. I didn't really get on it until we started this thing. And the random DMs I've got and the people I've met has helped me tremendously. So there was a man named Ari who's from New York, and his dad had walked into a random comic book store, I want to say in the 80s, and found one in the corner that was standing out to him. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And he thought it was the coolest thing in the world. He ends up licensing that all the way to Nickelodeon. They sell that off, and then him and his dad have been in a father-son licensing company ever since. So he found us on LinkedIn, DM'd us. I had from day one an idea to start licensing because, I mean, you guys know the energy drink space is flooded with it. You had Ghost with Sour Patch Kids, Swedish Fish, C4 with Jolly Rancher, Rise with Sunny D, it's all over the place, but nobody had ever done it before in the healthy soda space. So I wanted us to be the first. I told him that goal, and about 90 days later, we had the Albanese deal done. And it's just his network at the end of the day. It's really what it comes down to. I'm sure you guys know that just as well. I've got friends still looking for their life job from college just because their resume is getting denied X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, my friends that are in those elite positions, they just network the right way. You just never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's very true. So what was it like, you know, you all got the flavors after building the business, coming up with the business, launching in August. What was the process of getting it into that first store, branded store?
Yeah, so I mean, our advantage for sure is my family's always been in beverage. We're definitely one of those families where my dad's friends I've considered my uncles because I just have known them my whole life. Him and his team, him and my uncles have pretty much floated from organization to organization, starting with Red Bull and then switching to Bang Energy. And most recently, they were at Congo Brands with Prime and Alani New Energy and 3D Energy as well. So, once again, tying back to that network and who you know, we were able to get some meaningful conversations right out the gate. And people can take that for what it is, right? It's one thing to ask for a favor, but at the end of the day, these massive retailers have to believe in the product too. They can't just say yes to everyone they know. And people realized immediately that our target demographic, that Gen Z, that Gen Alpha, has been neglected in this space. And it's not something that we're trying to do where we're trying to compete with even a Poppy or an Olipop. It's a completely different consumer.
You know, that was going to
It's
be my next question too. Like, what makes you different than Olipop and the other ones that you named?
Yeah, so we're kind of a I don't wanna say a hybrid beverage, but we're definitely a complementing beverage, and what I mean by that is we're no artificial flavors or colors, we're definitely considered a healthy soda, but instead of having fiber or apple cider vinegar, we have electrolytes. So we're the first soda in history with electrolytes. And that's something that's really, really stood out because once again, tying back to playing football, running track, everything like that. I mean, I remember walking around with Pedialytes all freaking day. I remember drinking Gatorade or drinking water during the event, hydrating, coconut water. But there was nothing, never like just a fun beverage I could just sip on throughout the day. Like, I'm not going to drink a bunch of Mountain Dew and be all jacked up. No. So, very subtle amount, but still enough to just be a complimenting beverage. And that's kinda how we're different. We don't expect the poppy consumer to look at a no cap and be like, "Oh, yeah, that's for me." No, it's pretty much poppies for mom, no caps for dad, and then we're coming out next week actually with these little mini cans, and that's for little Timmy and Stacy that's shopping with mom.
Man, y'all working, man.
Yeah,
Y'all
y'all working
working
for
over there.
real.
Yeah. It's never a dull moment. I mean, I think my sleep is the least it's ever been, but at the end of the day, I love what I do. Like, I get to spend time with my family and my friends in a fun manner, and then I get to spend time with them when I'm the most stressed person in the world. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't change a thing.
Definitely. And so you and your dad, like you are the owners of No Cap, right? So it's just you and your dad. And is it just you two running everything right now in terms of like social media, marketing, production? Is it just you two, or you kind of built out a team in the last 2 years?
For social media and marketing, I mean, that guy would probably have to ask me for help on logging into his accounts or something like that every now and
Yeah.
then. But him and his team, we have about, like, I wanna say 10. I would put us at about 10 people total for the entire company, and on the marketing side, it's myself, one of my best friends, Angel, one of my friends, Ray, from high school, and then she's sitting across from me right now, but Ava's our newest addition to the team, and she helps out on TikTok, which has been a tremendous, tremendous help as well, but super lean team, very, very lean.
Yeah, yeah, seems like it. And then I want to ask specifically about the soda, the like the nutrition in it. So like you mentioned, like no artificial flavoring. How do you decide what you're gonna put? Like what additions, like nutrition wise, are you gonna put into the pop? Because obviously you said there's apple cider vinegar. Some people do fiber. A big trend right now is like protein. So it's like what is that process like deciding, okay, what do we want to put in this pop? Like a functional, that's the new thing, like a functional pop now, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, no, initially we had the original samples I sent you guys actually had, I believe, postbiotics in there. And we sampled roughly 300,000 cans in year one. Like, I did not take a weekend off. We were doing insane events all the time. And very quickly, I realized nobody cares about the word biotics. If anything, it kind of frightens you a little bit when you hear prebiotics, postbiotics, antibiotics. You're like, why am I drinking that? And I'll never forget, I was sampling at a San Diego BMX racing event, and this kid had like 5 no caps, and he's like, "My stomach feels weird." I'm like, "Bro, you're drinking 5 no caps and you're racing a bike for 8 hours on this day. Like, what are you doing?" And it got me kinda thinking. I go, "Oh, what if we switch it to something that's complementing," and that's where electrolytes came in because I've tried the protein sodas. I'm very weird with like protein intake as it is because when I was trying the protein sodas or I've tried Rise Clear Protein, it just left like kind of like a chalky taste in my mouth. And I'm like, if I
Yeah.
can't even drink it myself, I'm not gonna push this out. So for me, the electrolytes was something that wasn't gonna make me use the bathroom like prebiotic fiber or something like that. It wasn't going to make me feel weird after I drink a protein soda. I just wanted something that you could drink one, two, three, four throughout the day and be chilling. So that's kind of how we came across it. And then no artificial flavors or colors because I mean I swear it's growing more and more that it's actually becoming like illegal to put artificial coloring and red 40 and all those things into beverages. So I go, let's stay ahead of the curve. Let's keep it clean.
Yeah, that Rare 40 is, gotta get away from that. Yeah. I wanna go back to the marketing aspect of it real quick because obviously, like, I mean, No Cap didn't happen overnight. You talked about how you first started about it in April of 2024, launched it in August of 2024, and then it's been going well ever since. In regards to the marketing, obviously you guys do great on marketing. Like, I commend you all for that. But what would you say is that one marketing move or strategy that kind of just allowed the brand to take off?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd say it's kind of um 2 things. One, we had a very solid 2025 with 2 specific activations that got retailers across the country excited, and that was partnering with X Games and the US Open of Surf. So we all know X Games and then US Open's right here in our backyard of Huntington Beach. It's roughly 500,000 people come to the beach, the largest action sports event in the world, and we were able to sample roughly 50,000 cans at that event. So that was really meaningful. We got a ton of great content for it. But at the end of the day, it's very hard to do those events across the country. Like I would love to do an event in Chicago at that size and Florida at that size, Texas at that size, but it's just a lot of manpower and very expensive it can add up to. And especially with a lean team like us, we've realized, okay, what is the easiest way for household penetration and people to learn no cap? And that's been through our licensing partners. So if I ask 10 people randomly across the country who knows X, Y, and Z event, more times than not, you'll probably get 4 out of 5, maybe half. But if I ask, oh, who in this room knows what an icy is? 10 out of 10 most likely will know that. So that gives us a ton of credibility on the shelf immediately with a customer that might not know no cap, but they go, I got to try this strawberry lemonade icy freaking soda. And then they turn the can and mom's able to see that it's zero sugar, zero caffeine, zero calorie, and nothing artificial. You get a kind of modern nostalgia twist where that parent gets to share it with their kid and be like, oh, I grew up drinking these. Little Timmy, little Stacy can drink it. And I'd say that's up there, the licensing, and we're definitely going to ramp that up very soon.
Okay. And in terms of like, you partnering with the X Games, I know you talking about, some other sports or surf that you do. Is there any interest in any other sports, like let's say basketball, more the traditional sports? And those are like extreme sports, I would say, right? Is that the correct
Yeah.
category to put them in? More extreme sports? Yeah, so like more traditional basketball, baseball, football. Do you see your, the company kind of marketing towards that audience at any point?
I've been trying at the highest level of NFL flag, NBA juniors, like everything. And what I quickly realized to the marketing level and why we kind of had to switch to that extreme sports mix up is because Coke, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper freaking rule the world. Like at the end of the day, there's so many exclusive partnerships that these guys hold I was just in Louisiana a few months ago and they were trying to get us to partner with LSU football. I go, oh, I would do that in a freaking heartbeat. But then you start looking and you see Dr. Pepper basically owns college football and you can't do any one off deals like that. And it's just like, oh man. But I know at the end of the day, how I become a mass, well known soda brand is the easiest way, if I'm talking active lifestyle, is mass sports. That's the number one thing. So for us, that's where I've been actively at the drawing board of like, okay, how can I get this involved to maybe not NFL flag, but some of the smaller leagues around the country. So it's definitely on the books, but in terms of trying to find partnerships that we can execute, it's that part's been tough.
Yeah, well, I think it's a huge market out there for you in high school football, man. The league that you come from, the St. John Bosco's, the Mater
Yeah,
Days,
yes,
NIL is
absolutely.
big right now with the high school athletes. So I think, getting some of the top level athletes in California, and y'all have some of the great
Mhm.
athletes, so like you mentioned
Absolutely.
some of those schools. So I think it's something there for high school because it's a really an untapped market. Me and Trey, we work a lot in Illinois high school sports, and it's definitely opportunity.
And I think
Yeah.
even like emerging sports, like I know you mentioned NFL flag football, but high school girls flag football, like in Illinois, it is growing like tremendously. Like I think we've had some of the top programs in the nation coming out of Illinois. I know Maine South is one of the programs in Illinois that won state this year, but then they had like their quarterback on the national level of like playing at the Pro Bowl girls flag high school flag football tournament. It was another young lady that just got offered from Nebraska. That
Makina
yeah,
She
Cook,
went to
yeah.
Orange Lutheran. That's my
Orange
school.
Lutheran.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
so
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So and it's just becoming emerging, like, it's eventually gonna get to the like, as we see it, it's starting to grow, like, it's already emerging in high school sports, it's gonna grow to the college level. I think flag football is gonna be an interesting one to look at too, for sure.
Yeah, that's no, that's a great point because my cousin's on Orange Lutheran's football team, and I've had tons of cousins growing up. I've been to their soccer games, I've been to the softball games and all that, but, like, the first sport I ever played, football, from ages 4 to 18, like, that's just what I did, and then seeing them out on the field, I'm like, "Alright, let me go check out some girls flag football," watching my little cousin. I'm like, "Dang, you guys got some sauce, let's go."
Yeah.
Yep.
It's been cool to see that for sure blowing up because that was one of my biggest concerns. I mean, she's a freshman, and I'm like, hey, you're going to have to figure out this quick if the NCAA is going to evolve to making this an active scholarship program, or you might have to double down on like a track and field or something. Because at the end of the day, every high school kid's trying to get that money from X, Y, and Z college. Seeing that first offer go out for Nebraska for their team, I go, okay, you got some momentum here. Let's double down. So respect to her too. They're almost treating it like travel basketball or travel baseball because she's having
Yes.
like 5 games a weekend, and I'm
Mhm.
like, that's crazy.
Yeah, like, even the way the state series was played, like, when, in the state of, Illinois, it was treated like a pretty much like a tournament, like you said, a AAU travel ball, whatever tournament, and I think it's emerging. I think it's super early, so, like, we don't even have a full developmental, like, what am I trying to say? Class, essentially, like, where kids was playing it from 6 years old, 7 years old, and then they go to high school. Right now, we're just getting the
Yeah.
ones that started playing in, like, 8th grade, 7th grade, and things like that, but I can't wait to see where that emerges to for sure.
Well, especially with I mean, LA Olympics coming up fast
Oh, yeah,
too. I mean,
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's
forgot about that, yeah. We
yeah,
got the Winter
if we
Olympics
don't win
going on right
that,
now.
yeah, if we don't win that, I'm gonna be losing my mind.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're gonna take care of business, man. Nobody plays football like we do in the United States, so I think they'll
Yeah.
be good there.
I wanna,
Did you guys play sports growing up?
yeah, we
Yeah.
were actually, teammates. We were actually teammates, we played football together in high school.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
I actually I played football in college, but then I transitioned to rugby.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so
So,
cool.
yep, I played rugby in college, won a national championship and everything. Like, so it was crazy. It was crazy. But I
That
actually
sport's
enjoy rugby more than
different.
football. Yeah, it is, man. I do. Rugby is dope.
That's our launch party, August 4th, was at the Major League Rugby Championship here in San Diego. That was our
Yeah,
kickoff.
yeah. Uh huh. The Legion.
That's the Legion. Yep, we were right here at Legion's a stadium, SDSU Stadium as well, and
Yeah.
yeah, rugby, that sport's different. You guys are built different. I've never, like I
That's
remember,
what
like
dangerous.
well, it's so funny because it's you see, like, the Saquon Barkley or Jalen Hurts videos are squatting 600 pounds, dude's legs are jacked, and then I went to
Mhm.
this freaking rugby game, I'm like, "Everybody looks like this." I'm like, "They're freaking built."
Yeah, and they
Gotta
all
be.
run the ball, kick the ball, skill. Like everybody's skilled on the field. That's what I love about it. Is like everybody has to do everything. It's not like a quarterback. I'm only throwing, or receiver, I'm only catching, or running back. Like everybody does, everything. So it's pretty cool. It's growing. It's growing in the United States, like you said, with the professional rugby league, and we got a Chicago team too, the Hounds. So it's definitely growing. I'm excited to see where it goes in the next decade or so. But
Yeah, we
another
had
one
a
of
in
those sports.
my high school team, we had a lot of people that were in the off season all playing for I don't know what the city was, but they played for the Rhinos. It was a rugby team out of Southern California, and it would be a lot of our, like, D linemen, and I'm like, "Dang, to see this guy in open field just running, that's scary."
Yeah, and you gotta hit them with no pads on.
I'm
With
like,
no
"Bro's like
pad. That's the
6."
insane part to me. You're wearing no
Yeah.
pads.
But the crazy
Yeah.
thing about it is it's actually more safe than football because the point of contacts are different and they really emphasize good tackling. Like if you don't tackle correctly with the proper technique, you get carded for that. So you can get sent out the game if you lead with your shoulder, you hit them high, like, and it's not proper form, you get penalized for that. So that's why it's a little bit more safer because they really enforce good proper technique tackling in rugby. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, people think when they don't see the pads, they like, oh no, nah, but it's really not that bad for real. You still got those big hits though, that's like bust your face open, knock a tooth out or something, but it's all
That's where
fun.
that's where you start to imagine it too, where it's like, okay, if I put, like, Brian Dawkins on a rugby field, I'm like, "RIP, I'm done."
Yeah.
Man, and in California, high school rugby is like big. In Illinois, it's not so big, but man, I feel like that's a great development in the off season for football. Like if you go right, you done with football, then get ready and go right into like rugby and play a rugby season. It's the same type of skill, still ball handling, still running, still tackling, conditioning. So I think that's a great sport for off season conditioning for football players for sure.
I
Like,
got
but
I gotta ask the question, I gotta ask the question because I see it debated all the time. Football,
mhm.
California versus Texas versus Florida
Like,
Jeez.
you know what?
versus any fourth that you wanna add in there.
We I don't know if we're in a position to answer that question, man. We Illinois, man. I'm saying
Yeah.
Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. But I do know like what they say, California, Texas, Florida,
hmm
and maybe add Georgia in there. Those are the ones that everybody like recognize on a national level for football, at least. So I know a lot of the top Power Five talent comes from those programs. But in Illinois, we got a lot of good talent coming out of the state too for football as well. Jonas Williams, I don't know if you know about Jonas Williams, Vinny. I probably not, but he's playing at USC. He's from Illinois. He broke two
Okay.
big state records for football. But like I said, we got players like him, like Trey Taylor, Israel Abrams. There's some they're like top 5 quarterbacks in the class of 2027 coming out next year. So they're from Illinois. So although those other states get a lot of
Yeah.
recognition and notoriety for football, I think a sports like Illinois kind of get, the back burner because of those states are like so massive in the programs that they produce and the players that come from those states for sure. But
Do you
I'm
guys
Yeah.
gonna
think
always
it'll
ride with Illinois.
do you think high school football or honestly, yeah, it could be any sport, would start to end up more and more like the college football playoff where you have these states that start playing each other? Or because I mean, when I look at like OU's schedule, for instance, when I was there, the farthest we went was De La Salle to play a out of SoCal game. But then now I'm looking at like Bosco's schedule, OU's schedule. They're flying to Baltimore, they're flying to Florida, they're flying to Hawaii. I'm like, this is crazy. This is a real time thing. And then you start seeing some of the NIL money getting pushed around to some of these kids, and I'm like, you're making how much? Yeah, I'm like, this is
Yeah.
wild. But do you guys think it'll lead more
Yeah,
towards
so
that? Or
FA, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they have was it Max Preps that had their first national championship game, or was it ESPN? It was
Yeah,
somebody that had
yeah,
a high school
it
national
was
football
I
championship.
believe it was overtime. Overtime.
Overtime?
It
Okay.
was overtime where they had their first high school national championship game, like where you crown a national championship in the country. But to your point, what you were saying, I think so. I think because right now the EYBL, they have, but it's with the preps though, but they have their own league essentially where all of the prep schools play against each other. So like Link Academy, AZ Campus,
for
all
basketball.
of the prolific prep off of basketball. So I do see a world where a league is created with like the St. Francis, the St. John Bosco, the Bishop Gormans, and we
Yeah.
like, all right, look, we're gonna all, because the issue that's happening right now is the governing bodies in these states are having, it's their issues between the top level schools and the governing bodies, and they're like, hey, we don't like certain things, so hey, we just detach from the governing body and do our own thing and go independent. So I think if you get 7 to 10 teams that say, hey, we don't want any parses, we want to do our own thing, let's make our own league, we have generate our own revenue, we'll fly across and play each other and have a champion. I believe it's gonna happen I think it's gonna happen in football. Basketball is kind of the model.
I think it does happen too, and it's funny, FA, because we actually talked about this like many different times, a lot during the football season. But we think it will only happen so for the schools that's part of like a state associations, right? It will only happen for those schools that can afford to, because at the end of the day, when you're traveling or having a national schedule, that costs money, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, if a top school in the state, like just think about it, FA, for us, like for football, Mount Carmel pulls away, they could do it because for one, I believe they can get enough of donations from their booster club or whatever to make things happen for them. But two, um, it's like they're already so dominant in Illinois that they will want to seek national like games more often, I would think. Not saying that they are going to, but I think it would make sense for them because they can afford it. They have those top players that nationally known, and marketing wise, it would make sense because they wouldn't have to worry about anything regarding to a state association if they was to pull away to play a national schedule more often. But
Right.
I think even when we was talking to Coach Lynch, he was saying something about they could potentially have a game on ESPN this year. So it's like
Yeah.
first game of the season. So to me, in my head, that's like the first step, but it will only happen for those schools that make sense. Like not every school is gonna do it, but if it's a school that's like a Mont Carmel or even an East St. Louis, all of their non-conference games were out of state, I believe, right? FA, like they
Yeah.
played a team from New Jersey,
Hmm.
a team for Florida, IMG. They were supposed to play another team for Florida that they had to cancel, and then it was who did they play in Nevada?
Bishop Gorman.
Bishop Gorman. So, and I think they're like one of those programs that they could, if they wanted to, they could essentially step away from a state association and then play a national schedule. So, how soon would that happen? I don't know, but if you even when you think about NIL, right, and sponsorships, and when you're able to market your program on a national level, like you don't even got to worry about like local sponsorships or local brand partnerships. When you can do that on a national level with like the bigger brands like a Nike or a Gatorade, or if
No
you want
cap
to say
soda pop.
no cap
Yeah,
soda
no cap.
pop,
Yeah.
no cap soda pop, anybody really. Like if you can do that on a national level and you don't have to worry about being attached to a state association, because I think in Illinois at least, the IHSA, kids are able to have like NIL deals, right? But they can't
Yeah.
wear any of their school. They can't be associated with their school. They can't be in a commercial wearing their school brand because that's a part of the IHSA. That's part of the state association, a little bit of the licensing and copyright to the state association. But they're able to, have commercials, do anything, have a partnership with a Nike or a big time brand or whatever. They just can't have their school logo in anything that they do when they're marketing for this brand. But imagine if a school like Mark Carl, when they state association pulls away and they don't got to worry about that. They can wear the school logos. They can do all of that. I think that changes the game for those types of programs. Now, not every program is not going to be able to do that, like I said, but it changed the games for those types of programs who, if they step away from a state association and they can actually get national sponsorships and then also play at a national level, that just helps with their branding nationally, essentially, if it makes
I
sense.
would
So
love that. That's something. Now we're talking about mass sports sponsorship. I would love some sort of influence partnership with that, because I mean you raise a good point too, because I evaluate SoCal, for instance, and yes, you have the Boscos, the Modern Days, but you also have a little public school called Centennial High School who freaking
Yeah.
makes the
Yeah, Centennial.
yeah,
They had a big upset this year, and yeah, I remember that Centennial.
yeah,
Yeah.
Centennial is just straight dogs down
Yeah.
here. and public school, and then they went on to play Santa Margarita in the SoCal championship before Santa Margarita won. Shout out Carson Palmer and his team. But at the end of the day, it's like, how could you coordinate with it where you have one of the best teams in the country? It's just a public school out of right here at right now, Corona, California, and get them funding to go play another school like in Bishop Gorman or IMG or go to Chicago. I don't know. It's definitely an interesting time for sure. When
Yeah.
you start to think about, like, I remember being a kid and seeing Reggie Bush get in trouble for getting a Hummer, but
Now it don't
now
even matter.
now that's like
Now it don't
nothing.
even matter. They gave him his
Yeah.
Heisman back because they was like, all right, yeah, we're gonna give him his
Yeah.
Heisman back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it don't even matter now. But I do think I personally see college, not college football, high school football being the pioneer in pretty much a resemblance of what college football used to look like, essentially. That's what I think it will be in like the next 10 to 15 years. I mean, obviously that's just speculation, but with the way college football is right now, it's kind of like a free for all, and it's not really regulated with the NIL and the transfer portal and things like that. I think eventually we're gonna see that change very soon, where maybe a commissioner steps in, or maybe a pro amateur quote unquote football league comes about with college football. And I think high school football is gonna emerge as like that new amateur sports league, essentially. Like I think a lot of kids, like a lot of people, are gonna want to look into high school football because when you think of high school football, when you're watching these games on like ESPN or whatever, like they're good. And then when you're looking at their stadiums, these look like junior college stadiums. Or these look like actually college stadiums at some places in like Texas, or I think of a school like Buford in Georgia. Like these stadiums look like college stadiums. So I just think that eventually it's going to all trickle down into prep sports, football being the pioneer in that. So, and
Yeah.
when, and it's going to be, and when there's an opportunity to make money, I mean, I hate to put it in that light, but when there's an opportunity for programs and anybody to make money off something, they're gonna try to make sure you're able to capitalize on that. So I just see it happening for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Vinny, I think it's a huge opportunity in prep. Like everything is like trending upwards in terms of all of the sponsorships and NILs. I don't know if you saw, but Spire Academy, they just signed a partnership with a company who has a logo patch now on their jerseys. It was like a $6 million deal. Now Spire's jerseys have a logo patch on there, and they're a prep academy out in Ohio. I believe it's Ohio. So yeah, that's just like, and that's the first time that's ever been done. So even for you, while you was talking about Centennial, like, hey, what if
Yeah.
we put no cap on a jersey or so? That's maybe down the line, but I
That's
mean, it's just it's a way, and these kids like they're stars now, and with social media and marketing, and like how you said, it's kind of harder to navigate the college and pro space because the bigger companies already have it locked down. Like they already have the deals in place. And so now, the high school market is wide open and you have the same type of athlete. So now the kid that's 16 years old at Centennial, he'll be 22 Ohio State and then go to the
yeah.
NFL and you already have ties to him. Now, no cap is associated with this kid and you followed him his whole career and you've kind of sponsored and helped, push his personal brand and visibility across the country. So I think high school sports is definitely growing. And like Trey said, it's a lot of money in it to be tapped into. And that's why people are doing it. They don't Spire didn't get the $6 million deal for no reason. So somebody saw the upside and invested. So I think it's something special happening in the high school sports. So I
Next
definitely
next season you're gonna see next season you're gonna see modern day high school with a big old no cap sticker on the side of the helmet. That's what you're gonna
Hey,
I
see.
hope so.
hey, maybe, yeah,
Yeah,
hey, that'll be dope,
that'd
man.
be
That'll
dope
be
for
dope.
sure.
I'm telling you, that will be dope. And
Yeah.
you find a good set of kids with, good work ethic and really big on social media and have influence. Like we have some great athletes in Illinois with a lot of influence, and a lot of brands and companies aren't tapping into it. And we like, hey, you really missing out, because these kids have a lot of influence. I don't think people understand. So yeah, it's definitely interesting time.
Yeah, kids are very talented in how they market themselves now too. Like obviously they grew up with social media, so they're more in tune with it when with our generation or the generation before us. But the way a lot of these athletes market themselves it just helps with their personal branding outside of the sport. So and they do it pretty well. Like I think of like Trey Taylor or that we talked about FA, but he markets himself very well. beyond outside of football. Yeah.
For
Actually,
sure.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, my
I was
bad,
gonna say, I
guys.
mean, that's some of the first marketing I learned, right? Where I went to Orange Lutheran, like I said, and we had some dogs on our team that just didn't have scholarships or looks, and you had someone that was a little less, not as good, but they're going to every camp. They're posting all the time. Their freaking videos are sick. Like, I guess that you raise a great point. That's really the first great marketing you could do is the athletes that have those most looks. I mean, I think even Josh Allen said, I saw one of those clips during playoffs. He's like, I had no offers or anything like that. And dude's a dog. Like,
Hmm.
it's a good point.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, for sure. I want to ask you, so, obviously you guys have pop right now, you got soda, right? Has there, even though I know it's early on, but has there ever been any thoughts of like maybe expanding out into, a true sport beverage or water or, any different type of style beverage? Or is it just you kind of want to keep that pop, you know?
Yeah, I think for us, it's definitely gonna be expansion. Like, I feel like we're already towing the line where I have no cap soda pop, but I also have it as strawberry lemonade flavor. So I'm gonna expand it to not just being a healthy soda, but just a healthy beverage. And then in terms of any other product lines, I have been debating doing some sort of stick pack just on the go. You pour it in, no cap flavoring, still have your complementing electrolytes and all that good stuff. But aside from that, I mean, honestly, I haven't thought too much about going into a water or an actual Gatorade. I have a lot of people that DM us like, you should put alcohol in this. And I'm like, no. Last thing I need is little Timmy drinking his no cap and thinking there's alcohol in
Hey,
it.
but
No.
no, no, but a lot of companies have done that. Arizona
Yeah,
does
they
it.
have. They
Arizona has,
have.
yeah. So I mean,
Yeah, I'm
it's not
seeing
it's
all the
not
different type of
outrageous.
yeah, what do
Yeah,
they call it?
Spike
Hard
Spike drinks
seltzers or
hard.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
spiked lemonades or whatever.
I just saw one of those stories where it was a teacher gave her whole class Mountain Dew seltzers, and I'm like,
Wow.
that's a mess up. But
Cause she
I don't
didn't
want to be
know.
in that
Yeah.
position.
Right. For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that make a lot of sense. So I actually want to ask about the industry as a whole, the beverage industry. Because as we're talking about it right now, like a lot of things has changed. Like I don't remember it ever being like a Mountain Dew seltzer when I was a kid growing up. You know what I mean? Not saying that I was like drinking alcohol or anything, but my parents drank it and they weren't drinking that, right? What do you see just the beverage industry as a whole in like the next 5 to 10 years?
Honestly, I think in real time, we're seeing the biggest shift is millennials to Gen Z, and Gen Alpha isn't old enough to drink yet, but you're seeing $1 trillion lost in the beverage industry for alk. I shouldn't say no, but there's still people drinking, but it's not at a level that's been seen before where less and less people are choosing just a healthy, I don't even know if it's the right way to say healthy, a non-alcoholic beer over a beer. And it's increasing more and more and more where I'm recognizing that as a big change. And then the wave that we're on is just non-artificial beverages. It doesn't even matter the category anymore. Where I'm even seeing honestly, not even just beverage. I keep getting Doritos ads now for their new naked, no artificial flavors or colors Doritos. And I'm like, dude, we're changing everything. When we grew up, or at least when I grew up, I was never drinking a freaking Sunny D and eating a bag of Doritos and was like, there's yellow 6 and red 40 in this.
Nah,
Didn't even
nope,
cross my mind once. It didn't cross my parents'
nope.
mind once. Now we do these samplings and it's like I'm having to fill out like an ACT, SAT test score to tell parents that stuff's not in here. It's just a healthy beverage. So I'd say the two things that stood out to me is less alcohol sales across the board, and then a huge uptick in just natural.
Okay. And are there any big issues in the beverage industry right now that you've identified or things that you think need to be solved or fixed?
Honestly, I don't know. Everything's changing so fast right now where everything needs a function. So like we mentioned protein soda earlier. It's a huge fad right now. Do I think it's something that's sustainable? Do I think it should be right next to a Coca-Cola or a no cap soda pop? No, because I mean, even a protein drink, I don't remember the last time I drank one. I once again, I'm so old, I used to put it in a shaker bottle and shake it up and drink it. Now it's in soda form, and I think the biggest thing right now, what you're seeing that could be confusing or could be a red flag is there's so many new functional beverages coming out and nobody knows where to put them on the shelf. Like I can go to a store across the street and you'll have protein soda next to no cap soda pop, next to prebiotic apple cider vinegar soda, next to a Harito soda, next to a freaking Coca-Cola. Like it's just a blend. And you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely, definitely.
definitely. I want to ask in regards to the brand and what was it called, the brand ambassador programs. How? Because I know we signed up for it like a little bit while back, and I've been seeing the emails and things like that. But how has that helped the company in that brand ambassador program? How has that like helped the company grow?
So into tenfold going into summer. So for us, it was
Hold on one second, Vinny. It's your audio. Fa, are you having a hard time hearing them?
Yeah. It kind of it's fading out. The audio, I don't know what happened.
oh shoot,
There we
can
go.
you
I
hear
think
me?
yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Let me know if it cuts out again. I'll do something. I don't know what I'll do, but I'll figure it out. But for the mob, so that program was for two things. One, I'm a very loyal individual. Like I want to support every single person that's supporting us since the early days because as you guys imagine, it's very hard starting your own thing and keeping at it and trying to excel it and take it to a place that not many people believe in you. I mean, even I'm sure starting a podcast, right? Starting a soda, starting anything like that. A lot of your friends will be like, nice, like keep at it. But if you stop doing it, they'd be like, all right, man, it's all good. Like focus on something else. Like to truly believe in yourself is the cheesiest thing in the world. Eh, I'm very loyal in that sense of not forgetting every single person that has supported us when we haven't had much to give back. Now that we're expanding from 3,000 to 4,000 to this summer, we'll have about 10,000 stores. That changes the game, right? I'm able to go to our ambassador program, see who's been actively with us since the beginning, pushing us and helping us without us much to give and really dive into them and say, okay, here's X amount of product, here's X amount of dollars. What can we do together at a higher level to increase that awareness? And that be across mass sports, that be across action sports, that be across podcasts. So to answer your question, it's an uphill battle. When you're in the soda game, like I said, you're battling 100 billion trillion dollar beverage industry, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper. So for us, we've taken that counterculture approach of saying, okay, we're going to be the no cap mob. We're going to go across the country and partner with these grassroots to micro to macro to higher level partnerships and really expand that. And I'm beyond grateful where we have about 2,000 people that applied to it and and that means the world to me. Like I said, I mean, yes, we have about 10 people on this team. 6 out of the 10 are just my family. So it's a thin lean team and to have people across the country hear about us, invest in us and want to engage with us. I'm not going to forget that going into this summer when we can truly get behind them and we need that national awareness at the end of the day. It's one thing to get on the shelf, as my dad says, but you got to have someone go in the store and buy it at the end of the day.
Mhm.
It's very easy to just get on the shelf, but you got to have that repurchase.
Yeah, it's like get on the shelf, get it off the shelf, and then refill it. Like, how do you constantly get that circulation of
Yep.
fulfillment? But yeah, I mean, like I said, we've been seeing it grow, for a while now, and we're in the Midwest, and the fact that it's a company that started in California, so I mean, it's clearly working, and it's clearly something different. And like Fa was saying earlier, and like you mentioned too, Vinny, it's a culture behind it, it's a movement behind it. I think with the next generation and stuff, it's definitely gonna resonate with them a lot for sure.
Yeah.
I wish there was 49 other podcasts and teams like you guys in every other state across the country because that was the hardest part for us is getting people from Florida or Chicago or New York that I'm like, dude, I'll partner with them tomorrow, but the market hasn't grown there yet for our expansion just because we're coming all the way from Southern California. But now that we're growing more and more and more, I I love things like this where we could partner behind someone like you guys even and say, hey, how do we tap into these athletes that are crushing it in Illinois and have them know about no cap, learn about no cap, go to the store and try no cap, be fans of no cap. Like that's the goal at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's super important, and I don't think that's what people don't give that enough credit. Is just like understanding that you have to have an identity and actually building a brand. Like everybody feels like I'm just gonna make content, I'm just gonna sell a product, but it's you have to put something behind it. Me and Trey talk about this all the time, where whether it be Nike, whether it be Under Armour, or whatever other company or brand you want, they're not selling you a shoe. They're not selling you a t-shirt. They're selling you something more than that. They're selling you a dream. They're selling you hope, athleticism. Like there's whatever they choose, whatever story they're trying to tell, they're selling you that. And we clearly see that you all are doing that same thing when we go on your social media and we see the fans and the people who support it and the energy behind it and the audience and the identity, the brand identity is what's super important. So when you walk in the store, you mentioned all of those different types of pops and different type of beverages, but I'm coming in here to get no cap. When I
Yeah.
walk past it, I see it, and I don't see a pop. I don't see just a can. I see a culture. I see a movement, and I'm gonna grab this. I want people to see me walking down the street drinking it. I want to see me leaving the stadium and I'm drinking it. Like so that's super dope and important. That's why you guys are growing like you're growing because you doing the work, the important, the culture building work, the brand identity work. So shout out to you and shout out to No Cap, man. That's why we want to get you on because like we just love what y'all are doing for real.
Absolutely, and it hasn't even been 2 full years yet, has it?
Nope. It's been literally 18 months and 1.5 years and 19 days since we launched this thing. And like I said, I mean, it's not to be soft spoken just because we're doing the podcast and everything, but I truly appreciate you guys even just keeping connected with me and keeping connected with the brand because it's hard, you know. Like I'm tying it back again, like starting a podcast or doing anything you want to do. It's not easy to put yourself out there. I mean, at this point, it's. I think we're probably close to. I mean, 26,000 on Instagram, almost 10,000 on TikTok, plus every other platform. It's a really real thing where roughly 50,000 plus people, followers today could see me and my family fail tomorrow. I'm not going to let that happen, but we're putting ourselves out there in a very bold statement of this is real money. This is real emotion. This is real. My palms are sweaty right now. Just everything about this is real. And
Yeah.
so it really means the most to be truthful for you guys to even think about inviting me on here and even just talking to you guys. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we
Yeah.
want to expose no cap to our audience. And I think this is a great interview with you talking about the sport beverage and your company and somebody out there is gonna listen and see it and be like, man, like I like that, or let me see if I go find it. So yeah, that's why we want to do it. And we want to continue to get many more business owners on to do the same thing. So we appreciate it.
Yeah,
No,
most definitely. Yeah, I know we've been talking for about 50 plus minutes now. I just want to ask one last thing. Benny, is there anything that no cap, like that's happening with no cap, like let's just say in the next 2 to 3 months that you want any of our audience to be aware of or any of your audience to be aware of?
yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's really we're diving in into this icy collaboration. So we've got the icy strawberry lemonade, icy cherry cola flavors going out. And we're already available online now, but we're gonna start rolling in March. I have one of the biggest promotions going on that I could think of. Every Chevron extra mile nationwide in the country is going to be buy one icy, get a no cap free for all of March and all of April. There's no soda company out there that's like, hey, buy something and you get a full can free. It's buy an icy. It's $1 or two. You can pull it out of a piggy bank and you get a free no cap soda pop. So that's a really big push. And then, like I said in the beginning, it's in Kroger, it's in Smith's, it's in Fry's, Ralph's, Albertsons, all that good stuff. But that's a big push for us these next couple months. And as soon as we get off this, I am going to look at how I could partner with the Trinity League here in SoCal or some of these other larger leagues and make our way over to Illinois for sure because it's a great idea, guys. Like I said, I tried the college push. It's an uphill battle, but this high school market is open, and it's a great idea.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so
Absolutely.
my last question for you, right? So a kid out there or, adult, whoever sees this interview and says, "Man, I want to start my own beverage." What is some advice that you would give to them?
Oof. I would say, honestly, if it's not even just a beverage, if you're starting anything, you guys probably imagine this, you have to be obsessed with it. Like, I feel bad, and it's the cheesiest thing in the world where even at a family gathering or even on a holiday, I'm stressed out thinking about no cap soda pop and how I can make it better. And I'm definitely that friend or family member in the crew where everything I talk about ties back to this eventually. I was just at my cousin's engagement party on Saturday. I stood in the corner talking to my cousins, her and her husband. We talked about no cap for like 4 hours. And like, that's just how it is. So no matter what it is, it's, if you don't absolutely freaking love it, if you don't think about it every second of every day, just don't do it, honestly. I'd say that's first and foremost. I love no cap soda pop. I love everything that's a part of it. I started this conversation saying I enjoy the fun times with my friends and my family, and I enjoy the most stressed times with my friends and my family because I love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Dope, dope. Love that.
Yeah, I love to hear that. I don't have any more questions, FA, but that's I just want to piggyback on what you just said. I couldn't agree with that more. I mean, it's times me and FA are like in the most random spots like in our day where we're like, yo, can you talk real quick? Like we'll be on the phone for like an hour and we'll be like, dang,
Yeah.
like I stepped away from my family, stepped away from his family, and I go back and they be like, where'd you go? I was like, oh, I was on the phone with FA talking about some business strategy stuff. I apologize, my bad. But yeah, I understand what you said.
I've got
You saying
one
that.
question because I've been asked this a lot recently. Like, people are starting to realize that no cap's a real thing. It's growing, and I keep being asked what's my best memory with the brand so far. So I got to ask you guys, what's been the best memory since you guys started your project and from day one to now? What's it got to be?
That's a good question. I don't think we ever been asked that before.
No. Well, I'll say for me, I'll go first. And Trey probably could guess that I'm about to say this, but it was us going out to Mount Carmel for a big game. It was Mount Carmel versus Brother Rice, one of the biggest games that was happening in Chicago and Illinois at that time. And I think for me, it was more of a representation of all the work that we put in up until this point, because you never really know how people receive what we do and how much they appreciate it and how much they follow us. And it was like kind of the first time me and Trey went to a big game like that together. Cause usually like Trey will go by himself or I'll be somewhere, but we're never there together, at least for this year when it was like hit its height, its peak. And we pulled up and then like I remember I was on the phone with Trey and he was trying to find somewhere to park. And then I saw a car driving past and they looked out the window. It's like, hey, that's the off-season guy. And they got out the car and then they wanted to take pictures and stuff. But that whole day was just filled with people coming up to us, interacting, say they love the podcast. I mean, it was older, people, really young people, different races. Like everybody was just showing love and support for what we do. And it kind of was like that was the moment where you could like, oh, like what we're doing is a good thing. Like people appreciate it. So in that moment, it just was like a memory that I always remember because it kind of was like the moment where I was like, okay, we're doing the right thing. Like we're going in the right direction. So I
Yeah,
think that's for me.
I would have to agree. I'm gonna answer this in a different way though, because to me, it's not necessarily one moment, but two moments that tie together. The moment when me and FA first got connected, I say this, I've been telling this story for a lot recently now. Me and FA played football together in high school, right? And we like when he's a year older than me, so he graduated and then I graduated, whatever. We didn't speak for like 10 years. And then one day randomly, I'm with my girlfriend, he's with his wife and daughter, and we're walking in the park and we just run into each other and we have a conversation that essentially starts the off-season podcast. Like literally like a month later, like we exchanged information. He ended up texting me. A month later, we start the off-season podcast and we haven't stopped from there. And we would just kept going, kept going, kept going to the point like and I would say we had early success from it because we just kept doing it consistently. But then when you tie that to the Mount Carmel moment that FA said, that was the two moments where you tied together from that first point. to that Mount Carmel game where we're like actually in person interacting with people. And obviously we know like we have a certain amount of followers on TikTok. We have a certain amount of followers on Instagram. Like we have a certain amount of subscribers that have grown from day one all the way up until where we're at now. And obviously we know on the internet it's growing, right? Like we know that the brand is growing, it's being recognized. But like FA said, when we actually walked around it in person, I don't think we understood what level it was at until we were actually out. Because in our head, we're thinking like, all right, we're gonna go to the game, we're gonna vlog the game, we're gonna like do color commentary on the sideline, whatever. We're not thinking that anybody's gonna come up to us. Maybe one or two people will come up to us, whatever, say, yo, what's up, you guys. But the fact that we walked through it, and like you said, it was many different, it was kids, it was parents from both teams, many different ethnicities. It was old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 12-year-olds, like youth football players. And I'm like, everybody, like some kids, like, I see you on TikTok. Oh, I watch you on YouTube. I seen your Instagram stuff. I'm like, we actually are making something happen. And it made me understand, like, if it wasn't any time prior to that moment, it made me understand our influence. That's what it really did. It like made me understand, like, all right, what we're saying, it resonates with people, whether they agree with it, whether they disagree with it. It gives people to formulate their own opinion. We get a conversation started and we get people tuned in to hear us talk. And essentially, like, I know football is like the biggest thing that people follow us for, but even like when I think about, basketball is about to come about. We're about to start having our opinions a lot more about the state basketball tournament that's is going to be taking place over the next 2 weeks. It's just our influence and what we do for a lot of the programs, what we're trying to do, what our goal was to provide a spotlight to Illinois sports and athletes and coaches and trainers or whatever. And I feel like when we talked about that on day one, we kind of knew what it looked like, but then when we bring it to that Mount Carmel moment, we were like, oh, it's actually kind of coming to fruition the way we thought about it. And just like you, Vinny, we've only had 2 4 years of doing it. Like we're in
Yeah.
year three. August will make year three. Ironically, August will make year three for us. Um, and that's the most exciting thing about it for me too. It's like we haven't even been doing it for half a decade yet. So it's
Yeah.
like that's the part where it's like that's like, man, we've done a lot of good work and consistency or whatever, but we still got so many ideas that we haven't even executed yet that we're so excited to get to tomorrow. So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly, exactly.
those two moments though, I'll have to say that's to me that moment from when we ran into each other in the park to that Mount Carmel moment, that's when it was like, all right, if I ain't need and if I ain't have any confidence right now that we're doing something that's powerful and meaningful, that moment right there was like, all right, yeah, we're doing something that resonates with people in the state.
Yeah, I'm a big everything happens for a reason guy. Like the
Hmm.
dots always connect looking back. And you look at little moments, like you said, even running into each other at the park and seeing everything connect from then on. Like, I mean, all three of us wouldn't even be on this conversation right now if that little moment happened, or if I wasn't randomly living in Minnesota 2 years ago and being like, "Oh, like we should start a soda." We wouldn't be here either. It's just like everything happens for a reason. The people you meet, the things you do, and when you asked me earlier, like, what's one thing of advice that someone should have of starting a beverage brand? It's yes, it's that obsession, it's that drive. But honestly, like honestly, God willing, I've been blessed with the people around me and the knowledge I have, and for some reason, I feel like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't feel like this life has been forced at all. Like everything's everything's working, and in the good times, it's something that's great, and in the bad times, I'm going to learn from it. I always say blessings and lessons. That's my thing.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I like that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
like that
for
saying.
sure. Yeah, well, hey, Vinny, we appreciate you, man. This was great, and we looking forward to seeing what you guys got cooking up in the next couple months. I know the summer's about to hit, so I know you guys gonna get out and roll into a lot of events and do things. So we definitely want to keep in touch and keep, looking out for what you guys got going on. And again, we appreciate you for getting on the platform. It really means a lot to us for real.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this summer definitely. Let's make it happen, and keep your eye out on any of those athletes or anyone that you think would be a great fit for No Cap Soda Pop in that Illinois area, and let's make it happen. I mean, I'm putting it out there like, that high school sports is something sector is something I have to activate going into this summer, and as we grow and grow and grow, I can't trust anyone more than you guys for that Midwest area for sure. Definitely, let's stay connected. I'm gonna get your addresses right after this so I can ship you the brand new icy and you guys can try it out.
All right, for sure. Appreciate it, Vinny.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Have a great one, guys.
You as
All right.
well.